Hello and Happy New Year. Hopefully, this year will be full of pleasant memories and good tidings, so to speak. This is the first hangout of 2017, and everybody's kind of getting into the mood of New Year's resolutions and things they're going to do this year, and how much thinner they're going to get, and how much better they're going to get, and everything else. Reality, unfortunately, kind of dwindles down as time progresses, but we all always do this in the beginning of the year. And this year is no different, but one thing we definitely can and should do is do some digital cleaning and some goals dealing with managing digital content better, such as emails and text messages and everything else we're doing digitally. Organization, Google Drive. I'm not going to go over everything that should be done today, but I just wanted to touch base in terms of email specifically, because that's something that's easy to do and it makes sense to do, especially in the beginning of the new year. So I'm going to jump right into it. Let me just jump into the screen sharing here, and we'll go over a few things. So first thing is, we get tons of emails, and we talked before about how to manage them better, how to process them, but we still wind up with a bunch of stuff in our inbox, so it's not exactly inbox zero. And some people are managing that, but many people don't. And one way how you can quickly eliminate a lot of emails out of your view, so to speak, is by simply archiving them in Gmail or in inbox. Both works the same way. So I'm going to show the example using Gmail, but doing something similar in inbox would be pretty much the same process. So in Gmail, you have ability to enter search criteria that's a little bit more involved than just your basic word searches. And they have a number of commands, and so I'm showing right here a command that you can put in, such as after : 2016-0101, before : 2017-0101 in inbox. In other words, I'm saying anything I have in inbox, which is this part here, I want that to be filtered with just emails that started after January 1st, 2016 and before 2017, January 1st, 2017. And when I hit enter here, as you can see, it shows me 12/31/16, a bunch of messages for December 16, and it shows there's about, it says 1 of 50 of about 57. Gmail is not accurate in showing you the total count because I have a lot more than 57 messages for 2016. But if you click to go forward, you will see that the count will change. Now it says 51 to 100 of about 108, and if I go forward again, it says now there's 100 to 150 of 159, and then when we get to the next one, it actually goes and gets to be totally accurate by saying 150 to 200 of many. So in other words, there's a lot more messages than just, probably I have hundreds of messages. And so once you identify all of these 2016 messages by using this one command right here, then the next thing to do would be to simply select them all by clicking on the select button here. And notice that it says all 50 messages are selected, and it says select all messages that match this search, which is exactly what I want to do. I want to select not just the 50, but I want to select all of them. And once I select all of them, now I can go ahead and label them in a certain way, so I have a very easy way to get to them later, because remember, we're going to be moving them out of the inbox into the archive portion of the storage. And so I'm going to go and click on labels, and notice I have a bunch of different labels, and I have tons of them. And once the easiest way to do the years is just to have a label called year, so with the year number I'm in. And so I have all the way to 15, so I'm going to create a new label here called 2016, and I'm going to go ahead and create that. And it says this action will affect all messages in the search. Are you sure you want to continue? So I'm saying yes. And so now I'm going to have all of the messages for 2016 marked as 2016, and we need to wait until it loads because it takes a little while to do all this. Once I get done with this part of the process, the next thing to do is simply to archive them all. And then you'll have a really easy way to get to just the messages for 2016. You'll also have a very easy way to search for them, which I'll show you in a minute how we do that, because they're not going to be in the inbox anymore. So it says right now, all conversations have been added to 2016 label, which is perfect. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and say, select them all again, because it deselects them. So I'm going to select all of them using the same criteria. And now that I got all of them selected, I'm going to go ahead and you can see they got 2016, 2016, 20. So they're all now marked with 2016 label. And now I'm just simply going to go ahead, once I select them all, click on Archive to archive them. And it says this is a bulk action. This will affect all messages of the searcher. Are you sure you want to continue? So it gives you plenty of opportunity to change your mind, at various steps here. It's not something you can accidentally do. In my case, I definitely want to do it, and now it's reloading the page, and you can see once it reloads, it's still using this search criteria at the top, which means it should show no messages once it gets done loading, because all of them will not be in inbox anymore. They will be archived. And so once it gets done loading, we will see that there's nothing left much matching the criteria. And that's, as you can see, just a few clicks, few simple steps, and you're able to move your messages from being in your face and your inbox into the archive area, and now they're gone. So now you can see it says no messages matching criteria. So if I click on inbox now, I still already amassed the number of messages, and from 2017. So they'll show up here, and so according to this, I have 144. I'm sure that's what it is. So I have 144 messages. Some of these are chat things, and so on. In your case, you may have obviously you'll have a total different number. But the bottom line being, now if I'm looking through messages and I'm searching in my inbox, I'm only finding everything for 2017. And if I wanted to look for messages in 2016, I can easily go down on the left side through my labels and find the label for 2016. It should be at the top, pretty close to the top of your labels. And if I click on it, now I see all the messages for 2016, nothing there, and it puts at the top of the list. I can put in search for example, Michael. And so if I search for Michael, then all the messages that have him in there will come up. And but that happened in 2016, because remember, initially I clicked on the label 2016, so now it's showing me what's 2016 matching with this additional criteria for 2016. Another way how you can look for something anywhere is by using in anywhere. So I can, without specifying 2016, if I wanted to look for Michael's messages anywhere, meaning both in inbox and that are archived and everything else, then of course they will come up like this, and you can see some of these I have 2016 on them as label, others don't, that came today. So it winds up finding everything that's anywhere, and that way you keep your inbox clean and everything is much more organized this way. So that's how you deal with that. Now let's look at the next thing I wanted to talk about today. Was, let me make it a little bit bigger for you guys so you can see it better. About using both the inbox and Gmail too for the purposes of tasks. So people set up tasks, people set up goals, they want to do certain things, and then of course you want to make sure that you get reminded of these things and take care of it. Well, with inbox, one of the cool things about inbox, they have a number of different ways how you can deal with reminders, and you can actually bring into the inbox reminders by themselves by simply clicking on the reminder button here, or you can get the reminders from several other places. Like you can do save to inbox, which is a Chrome extension. You can also do right here, save inbox by Gmail. You can also use reminders using Keep Notes, Google Keep Notes, to also show up here in inbox. So if you're using inbox for everything, it's nice to be able to see all these reminders coming in single place. But the interesting thing about reminders here is when you set up a reminder with a date and time versus reminder for a place, they will also show up automatically in your Google Calendar. So let me show you some example. Let's say that we'll just use this message here. Let's say I wanted to, for example, get a reminder about this message. So I can easily set a reminder for, let's say, tomorrow at 9 a.m. And then that's where this message is going to come back. So if I look at my messages now, this particular message will not show up because it's snoozed until tomorrow at 9 a.m. Okay, that does not do anything to the calendar. You know, even though it's 9 a.m. tomorrow, if I look at let me just refresh the calendar. Okay, you can see that tomorrow, which is the 15th, I don't have any reminders set for 9 a.m. in terms of this particular message, I should say. Yeah, I do have a reminder for 9 a.m., but it has nothing to do with this message, something I had before. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the trick you can do. What I can do here is I can also say that I want to create a reminder for myself by clicking on this remember to in this message. And I want to say example of a reminder from inbox. Okay, obviously you would put something more descriptive for it actually means anything to do with this message, and then I save it. So once I save it, I didn't change my snoozing or anything. Then it says reminder set for tomorrow at 9 a.m. And now if we look at the calendar, and at the calendar here we can see that now we have two reminders. One is the old one, and this is our example reminder from the inbox, which is what I just created. So it automatically sticks it in the calendar. Okay, and that's makes a lot of sense. It's perfect. It's exactly what we're trying to do. But if I actually go in and if I change this reminder here to be snoozing, let's snooze it until tomorrow. Actually, no, let's snooze it until date and time, which would be tomorrow, which would be the 6th. No, tomorrow is the 5th. I'm sorry, tomorrow is the 5th. And we're going to say change it to be, let's say, afternoon at 1 p.m. instead. Okay, so I just changed this snoozing part. I did not mess around with the reminder part at all, right? But if we go back to the calendar now, hold on a second, I think I screwed up with the right, snooze until 1 p.m. Okay, if we go back to the calendar now, notice that the reminder moved to 1 p.m. just like I did the snoozing, right? So now it says example as a reminder from inbox, and you can see that it's been moved to 1 p.m. because I changed the snoozing to 1 p.m. Okay. The interesting thing about this is what I can do now is I can go back to the inbox. This is where it gets kind of different. What I can do here is obviously I can change the snoozing. Okay. But if I go here, I can actually move this reminder from 1 o'clock to anywhere I want. I can move it to a different day. It doesn't matter. I'm going to move it to 4 p.m. So now I have a reminder at 4 p.m. This is example reminder, which is the one I did for that message. Yet when I look at the inbox, it still shows that it's snooze until 1. So the idea here is very simple. If you snooze an inbox message and you indicate the time, and then you add a reminder for it, it will automatically make the reminder on the calendar to be at exactly the same date and time. Okay? But then you have an option to change in the calendar itself that reminder to be anywhere you want by just simply moving it there, yet your snoozing of the email will remain exactly what you had it at. No, I take it back. I moved it to 4 in automatic. Okay, I take that back. I thought it didn't automatically move, but I guess it does. So okay, my mistake there. I thought you can actually do two different deals where you snooze it to a certain time and then you change that. Let me try this again. Because I thought for sure that's how the thing did it last time. So if I change it back to, let's say I change it back to tomorrow at 2 p.m. at 2 p.m. so we can easily see it, save it. So now it's snoozed until 2 p.m. Then if I go back to the calendar and refresh it, yeah, so it changes accordingly as well. So it automatically changes. You can't, if you move it from the calendar, then it automatically updates your snoozing too, okay? Which kind of makes sense. Otherwise, it would be kind of weird that you have it snoozed at a certain time. So you can control the snoozing part from the email itself and the reminder part, and you can also move the reminder in the calendar, which will automatically adjust the inbox snoozing as well. That's not how it did it when I was doing my testing, but they must have fixed it. So now it works like that. Excellent. Okay, so that's what it does. If you adjust it through the calendar to be a different time, for example, like that, then if you go back to the message, let's look at snoozed. So I moved the calendar thing to 4 p.m. So if we look at snoozed right now, sorry, it's a little bit slow. And then we see come on. Man, this is definitely taking a long time. Okay, then we see right there that it's set up to, it says it's snoozed until 4 p.m. Yeah, so it moves automatically. So the moral is that if you move the calendar reminder to a different time, then the email will automatically snooze until that time as well. Okay, but you can control it from there. You don't have to change snoozing on the email. All you have to do is just move it in the calendar itself, and it does that. Okay, so that's that part. And then the second part I was going to show you was that you can also do a similar thing with keep notes, whereby when you have a keep note, let's say we have this keep note right here, and well, it doesn't really matter which one we have. We'll just go look at some notes, and let's say we look at this note right here. And so we take this note and we set a reminder for it to be tomorrow at 9 a.m. Done. Okay. So now when we look at our calendar, tomorrow at 9 a.m. we have a reminder for the solar deal here. And as you can see, I can also take this reminder and move it somewhere else. For example, I can edit it and say, let's move it down to 6 p.m. instead of 9 a.m. Let's move it down to 6 p.m. Okay. And so what's happening here is you can see it's at 6 p.m. here. And if we jump back to keep and find the same note again, you can see it's set up for 6 p.m. So both inbox and keep automatically, whenever you set up a reminder in them, they automatically set up that reminder in your calendar. And then by simply moving the reminder on the calendar, it automatically adjusts each application's details similarly. So it's like it's syncing it, which is really cool. Okay, the last thing I want to talk today about is the tasks. If you remember when we had Gmail before, we had tasks, and it was really convenient because in the email you could just simply say, you can go to an email and you can simply add the option. Like for example, you have under the more menu, it says add to tasks. Right now, it's not going to do anything in terms of because of the way inbox works and everything. It's not going to come up there. It's not going to show up. You can't use tasks with inbox. So it's kind of a downer when I saw that was happening. But the beautiful thing is that they still allowed you to be able to get, because the cool thing was you can go to any particular task on your calendar, because that's where it would show up, and then you can just pull up that particular Gmail that goes with that particular task. So it's very convenient. You can have your emails be linked in your calendar and easily get back and forth between the two. Very convenient. Now that this is no longer an option, there's another option, which is using reminders. And this is how it works. You don't do the add to tasks anymore. You don't do that at all. What you do is you simply create a reminder like we just did here, like this reminder here, for example, right? And it shows up on your calendar. But the cool thing is, if you look on your calendar and you open it up, notice that it has this link here. It says view in Gmail. So even though I created this snoozing environment and the reminder via inbox, I still have ability to jump back into Gmail and view this message in Gmail from this calendar reminder by simply clicking on the view in Gmail link. So we click on the link, and once it loads, it should show us that particular message dealing with Wakaya. And there it is. Beautiful. Okay? So again, the process is very simple. You simply snooze the message in the inbox that you want to be able to get back to in Gmail. And then you make sure you set up a reminder for it. And then once you have the reminder in place, then anytime you simply you want to get back to it, you simply go to the calendar and you pull up that particular reminder, and you'll have a link inside it that says view in Gmail, and you can get back. So essentially, it works similar to how it used to do when you used to use those tasks in Gmail. Now you can't use tasks anymore, but you can use this because it works just as well. And this way, you have a very nice tie-in between being able to look at the calendar reminder and then jump to the email message to go with that particular reminder in Gmail. And of course, the inbox itself will, because of the reminder, will also show it to you too. So you can do it that way as well. That's basically it. That's what I wanted to kind of show you today. I know it sounds a little bit confusing, and plus I was kind of mumbled a little bit back and forth. So, but if you try this, you will see that it's actually a very handy way to be able to put reminders for yourself into your Google Calendar, tie those reminders to your emails when you need it. In other words, if you need to be reminded of a certain email, it's a very easy way to do it. So you can just create the reminders just for the purpose of being able to get to them later, not necessarily because you need to be reminded, but just so you have them in your calendar, and then you can move them around easily, and then you can get back to those emails as well. And like I said, whenever you change the reminder date and time in the calendar, it automatically adjusts the snoozing in the inbox, or if it's a note, it'll adjust the Google Keep note to be at the same place as well. So feel free, you don't need to worry about going and saying snooze to a different time or anything, nothing. If you have a reminder in your calendar for a particular email or a particular Google Keep note, all you have to do is simply go to that reminder in the calendar and just move it to wherever you want to move it to, and everything will automatically work on it. Okay, if you have any questions, you know where to reach me. And again, Happy New Year to everybody, and hopefully it'll be a great year for all of you. Take care.